welcome back to my channel and to another video. I hope you are all doing really well. Have you ever made a project, designed it in Design Space, and then when you go through to make it, been horrified by the amount of pages that the machine is expecting you to set up and cut? I know I certainly have, and there are ways around this. So in today's video we're going to be discussing nesting and how we can minimise the amount of mats and paper that we use in a project. So without any further ado, let's save some paper and jump straight into Cricut Design Space. Here we are then in Cricut Design Space, and on screen I have got a set of banners that I am making for a customer in the shop. So it's all going to be in the same colour, and I'm going to be using glitter cardstock for this, and it's pretty expensive, so I want to make sure that I use as little as possible of the glitter cardstock. But when I go through to make, the Cricut is going to set it up so that it thinks I'm using a large sheet of 30 by 30 centimetre cardstock, which is just natural for it. You can't actually set it to tell it that you're going to be using an A4 sheet all the time. Unfortunately, that would be pretty good actually if we could do that. So with the 12 by 12 or the 30 by 30 centimetre cardstock that it thinks we're using, it has set it up that we're going to be using 4 mats. Now, even now, you can see that there's some wasted space around each of the mats, that even if I were using the bigger sheets of cardstock, I'm still going to be wasting quite a bit. As you can see, I'd say mat 3 is the worst. There's a heck of a lot of space around there. And then mat 4 has just got the 2 hearts on it. But obviously, because I'm using an A4 sheet of cardstock today, I need to change that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just click onto mat 1, and then I'm going to come down to where it says material size here, and I'm going to click on this little drop down, and I'm going to come down to the A4 section. Now I'm going to click on that, and it's going to change all of the mats so that it's going to cut onto A4. So now when we have changed this to A4, the Cricut has worked out where it thinks everything should be, and it has now rejigged everything to fit onto A4. So if we just quickly go through each mat, how many mats has it extended to actually? So now we're up to 6 mats. So we've gone from 4 to 6 straight away. But you can see we've got quite a lot of space here. We've got a lot of space on this one. Then we've got a couple of spaces here where we could probably fit something in. And then this one's got a lot of space around here, and then of course again the last mat has got just the 2 hearts on it. So what we want to do really is mess about with the layout of our mats and move some of the letters around so that we can get it down to maybe 4 mats. I think we'll probably get it down to, and then what we'll be able to do is obviously save 2 sheets of cardstock. So in order to do that, what you'll want to do first of all is familiarise yourselves with the controls that you've got on this mat screen. So if I've clicked on this ring, for instance, I've got 2 sections that pop up on that ring. I have 3 dots here, and then I've got this little arrow which is for rotation. So if I click on the 3 dots, it's going to show you 2 options. You've got move object or hide selected. So if you click on hide selected, I'll do that now to show you. That one will disappear and that space will become available on the mat, but it will come down to the bottom here at the bottom of the screen and show us that we have 1 item hidden. If I click on that number 1 there, it shows me what that is. And then if you want to get it back, once you've hidden it, you just come down to the bottom, just click on the picture and it will bring it back for you. So I am going to select this ring first of all, and what I'm going to do is just straighten it up so that it comes over to this side. Now that I've rotated that one round, it's created a small space in between the 2 rings that will allow me to move this one over. Then I can move this eye over and I can bring that one up. So now I've got a bigger space here and I've got this one at the bottom. So what I could do is go through my mats and look to see where everything is going to go. But the first thing I'm going to do is just move this P to here. You do need to make sure that you're very mindful of things touching one another. So where these 2 P's are, just want to make sure that they're not overlapping like that, and so that they are going to cut perfectly when it comes through to the cutting section. So now I've moved that P up there, I've got a gap here which is probably big enough for a letter. So let's come down and see what we can fit in. I think we could probably go with maybe this C. So what I'm going to do is click on the three dots and I'm going to click on to move object. When I click on that, it's going to show me all of the different mats that I have available to use. And obviously I'm working on mat 1 at the moment. So the current mat that I'm removing that letter from is greyed out because obviously we can't select that one. And all of the others are there for me to pick up. So I'm going to click on mat 1. That gives me the little tick and then I can click on to confirm and it moves it onto that mat. Now as you can see, it's a little bit all over the place, so what we need to do is move it down to where we are. We can turn it round using that rotate handle and see if we can fit it in, and it fits in at the bottom there. Now I reckon that this mat is probably as full as we're going to get it, so now I can move on to mat number 2. So what I can do is just start moving around the letters that I've got on there already. I'm going to rotate this L and I'm going to pop that up there. We do get this dead space then in the centre, but I think that's probably unavoidable. I'm just wondering if I can put that down here and fit anything in there, but I don't think that's going to work. So when you're nesting, it's really just a case of moving things around to the best of your ability and getting them to fit in. The other thing I wanted to show you about when you're moving things on the mat is when I moved the C onto mat 1, it did pop it over the top of the ring, didn't it? And we can avoid doing that by doing this. So if I come to mat number 3, which is where I'm removing stuff from, I'm going to move these two A's onto mat 2. So what I'm going to do first of all is just bring them down to the bottom of that mat. I'm going to move that H up and then I am going to just select both of those A's, and what I'm going to do is click on the first one. I'm now holding down shift on my keyboard and then I can click on that second one. So now both of those items are selected and they're in the space that I want them to go to onto mat 2. So now I can click on the three dots again, I can click on move object and then I can select mat number 2, which has got all this space on it. I can click on confirm and they have come now into that space at the bottom where I wanted them to be. So now I can move these around, and what I like to do with A's is get them so that they are sitting like this. So now we've created a really good sort of square space of those, and that will allow me to bring them up to here. I am just going to try and move them. This Y is getting on my nerves a little bit because Y is such a funny shape and I'm wondering if I can fit it in somewhere else, because I want to try and get all of this to be really well maximized. So I don't know whether I'm going to be using up more by doing it like that or not, but basically this is what you do. So with nesting, we're just going to keep moving everything around until we are happy with how it is. So I'm going to carry on, I'm going to get it all done, and then I'll come back to you and I'll show you how many mats I've managed to get it down to at the end. Continue on my screen because I just wanted to show you how many mats I've got this down to. I'm not going to select my machine. So I have got it down from 6 matte to 4, and I'm going to show you how I've done it. So I've got the first one, which you saw, which we worked on together. So everything looks pretty good on here. I've got those two rings really close together as well as this one here. So that's pretty good. Then the second one, we've done a little bit of jigging about, turning the letters upside down. We've got a bit of dead space here, but there's not a lot we can do about that. We managed to fit a T in this strange looking position as well, which works pretty well. Then I have got mat number 3, which is really full. This one has got a lot of letters on it. So we've moved the G's and we've rotated them so that they are on there at that angle, and then the 2 ends at the bottom as well. Just going to move that one over a little bit, and then the H and the 2 E's at the top also will fit on perfectly well. Then we have got the last mat here, which is mat number 4. So we've got the 2 hearts at the top as they were originally on mat 6 on their own, and then we've managed to turn the Y upside down. We've got the V on here, the little ampersand and the W. So that is all ready to go. So we have saved ourselves 2 sheets of gold glitter cardstock, which realistically is about £3. So that's £3 of extra profit that we're going to make on this particular item. Now, this isn't the only way that you can do nesting, so I'm going to now cancel this because I've actually already cut this project. So I am going to cancel that, click on yes to cancel the cut, and I am then going to cancel all of that hard work with the nesting, because what we're going to do now is come back to the main canvas screen, and we are going to come over to the shapes menu just on the left here. This is where we're going to pick up just a basic shape of this square here. We are now going to just bring that down here to underneath our engagement and Vicky and Will banners. And what I'm going to do is come up to this padlock on the sizing bar here, and I'm going to undo that padlock. I am now going to delete the width, and I'm going to make that 21 centimeters. Then I'm going to come to the height, and I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to put in 29.7 centimeters, and I'm going to hit enter. So that has now given me a 21 centimeter by 29.7 centimeter rectangle. I'm going to lock that little padlock off again. And this is the actual size of an A4 sheet of cardstock. So what I'm going to do first of all is just change that so it's white, just so that it's a little bit more user friendly for me on the screen. And you can see I'm on a 25% zoom currently. So if I just click on that 25, it's going to bring me back up to full size, and you can see that that is pretty big. Let's just put me down to a 50% zoom for now. The first thing I'm going to do then is just click on arrange at the top here, and I'm going to send this rectangle to the back there. What I'm going to do then is come down to the bottom, and I'm going to duplicate that twice, 3 times. So now I've got 3 rectangles on my screen. So these are representative of the pieces of cardstock that I'm going to be using with this project. Let's go down again back to 25, because I think we're going to struggle to do it on a 50. So what we want to do now is ungroup our banners. So each word, each letter now is separate, so we can move them around. And what we're going to do is just do exactly the same thing that we did when we were nesting with the mats, but we're going to do it on these sheets of fake cardstock. So we're just going to move everything really. I'm just going to throw these on here for now. Oh, I need to send those to the back. Let me just do that. Okay, there we go. So now they're all here. We can again put everything on, and we can rotate if necessary. Just need to be careful there, like I did, by making that a little bit bigger. Just undo that. If you want to rotate, you just come up to the corner and you'll get that little arrow, and you can rotate that to be however you want it to be. So just be careful when you're doing it that you don't end up messing it up. Let me see if I can do this and get it down to being exactly how we want them, but a little bit less cardstock used. I wonder if I can. It's a bit of a challenge this, so let's try. I am going to put that up there. And once you've got a few on here and you've moved everything, you'll find that you'll be able to increase your zoom again, and you won't need to have it zoomed in quite so much. So let me go off and do this again, and then once I've done it I'll come back to you and we'll see how I've got on with doing it with this method. Here's the finished article then from doing it with this method. So I've got 4 mats again. Unfortunately I didn't manage to get it down to 3. I don't think it's going to be possible because obviously they are quite big letters. I've got a little bit of dead space here, but that's going to work probably to just save that square of cardstock for another project, so I can do that. And the same on this 4th one here. It's actually not too bad. There is one thing that we need to do before we can go through to make it, because at the moment we haven't told the Cricut that this is the formation that we want all these letters to cut in. So when we go through to make, if I do that now, it's going to just pick up everything that's on the screen. So we've still got our 4 sheets of card. It's going to think we want to cut those, and then what it's doing is just pulling all of those onto one big mat at the moment. So what we're going to do is tell the Cricut that we want it to cut in this formation. The first thing that we want to do then is get rid of the backing templates that we've used for our letters. So if we come down to the bottom in our layers panel, they're all going to be at the very bottom there. As you can see, there's 4 basic cut squares. So all I'm going to do is just click on these little eye icons to the right, and I'm just going to get rid of each one of those. As you can see, they just disappear with that. Now you just need to be really careful for this part that you don't move anything, and what you'll want to do is just drag your mouse over each set of letters like that, and then you're going to come down to the bottom here and you're going to click on to attach. So I'm going to do that with each one of those. Once that's done, if I go through to make, each mat is now on my screen in the formation that I want it to be in, so it is ready to cut. So there's a couple of things I would say about this particular method. I do think it took me longer to do than just moving everything around on the mat, because it was more difficult to make sure that things were not overlapping the sides, whereas when you do it on the mat, when you're in the cutting screen, the Cricut will make any adjustments to that and put it back onto the mat, so you're not going to be overlapping. I do like doing it this way, but I think that I will probably stick to just doing it on the mat, but it is more visual this way, so you can go back and change it. And also, if you were going to be making multiples of a particular project and you wanted to cut it, say, in a couple of months' time or a week's time, you've got your mats set up, so you are not wasting time nesting every single time you make that project. So it's a good idea to save this project now and have it set up like this. I do really hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Take care. Bye.